With your back on the floor, you're not gonna fully press it, so you're not gonna have complete contact throughout your entire low back and like the whole rest of the thing. You're gonna keep your tailbone on the floor fixed. So it's somewhere in the middle of hips all the way forward where your back is excessively arched, and hips all the way back where your back is completely flat. We just wanna be in the middle. So tailbone fixed, feet are gonna be somewhat hip width apart, maybe a little wider, just enough where you feel that if you press them gently into the floor, your hamstrings turn on, and that just keeps the pelvis fixed in place. With a light weight, I have an 8-kilo kettlebell here. You can use a dumbbell too. You would just hold it like the long horizontal way, so your hand would be on each knob. If it's a kettlebell, you're gonna hook the webbing of your thumb into the horn, so the horns are facing like towards your forehead, and the ball part faces towards your knees. And that way it's just resting in your hands. That heavy ball part rests in the palms. And the first thing you're gonna do once you have your feet pressed and your hips locked in place is exhale and just reach the bell up without your upper back coming off the floor. So that's just gonna set up your trunk. So you're establishing opposition through that first exhale. My rib cage deflates downward and my shoulder blades reach upward, but I haven't rounded my upper back to do that. And then I'm still pressing my feet. So now that position is set. So I'm gonna breathe into it. And then as I move, I'm gonna exhale to get it overhead. And then breathe in through my nose. And come back to that start position. So you're blowing as you're reaching your shoulder blades up and around the rib cage to go overhead. Breathing out to do so. Breathing in to come back to standing. Now, the range of motion that this bell travels is not as important. So the goal is not necessarily to get it all the way down to the floor, because you want to make sure that you're not compromising the setup to do that. So, for example, if I'm arching my back and losing that start position, that's going to change the whole exercise. My goal is to keep my setup, keep my feet pressed, and that when I move the bell, I'm keeping a fixed trunk position so the shoulder blades get to move on a rib cage that is not moving. The rib cage is pumping, if anything, so that's getting a change in all the tissues that attach to those structures as I'm moving through it. So inhaling as I'm coming back up, and then exhaling to go down this way. So if I'm going this way and I'm blowing out, that means there's opposition. Rib cage is going down this way as I'm going overhead. And then I'm breathing in, keeping that position to come back to square. So exhale, 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 exhale. Does not matter how low you go. The important thing is you keep this. So even if it moves just a little bit, that's totally fine. And then you're coming back to start. Exhale to go overhead. Inhale to come back to start.